fiorsi come tacite, ai tacite that Bill, no sorry, Don Murray, the great actor who played also in Twin Peaks Return in the role of Bushnell Mullins, died yesterday at the age of 94. So practically the age of my paternal grandfather, even if my paternal grandfather is still alive, and the curious things that my paternal grandfather was born day after his birth, because Don Murray was born on July 31, while my grandfather on August 1. Yes, his music is dedicated to him. For other information, dedicated to the comment section. Ask you to more of. Mr. Lynch likes Holy Blind forever. It's February 3rd, so really the day, this is February 2026. 2026, it's Tuesday in Naples, they are middle sky. It's perhaps one for me middle, it's an adjective that is equivalent to variable practically. It's an adjective, it's a sunny clear day alternating with the clouds, alternating to clouds, with or to clouds, or vice versa. It seems the case for the day, and it's a wind, cold and heavy considered the period. At the same time, it seems very still now, but Marseille this one. It's the afternoon 13 and this is 13 and 34 minutes. 6 Fahrenheit 17 Celsius, ili cold crazy beers cool scazzi gadgets to use for interview and so for a second consider fact chant dalla foglia stagione 17 non factory river camo free su tre passi alla spassame tapso non river free flow in un spassame fin body so fact no factory river camo free su radio now su documento per camo in più sempre 21 in particolare non si sente fuori in pia virinita livello tapso non river fin corporeo su poi non c'è nulla supposi che I'm sure that twice the amazing sometimes for purpose fact question to watch me is better than for me and in addition to integral operations for winter spring exam the autumn fact for spring soft for some reagent for the autumn and second soft so not già così diversa a casi cagite se carte ne grisa triste mio questa figura sempre più assolutamente complete but no this year consider that the winter is cool so it's the contrary we complete we complete should complete but when in the sense of absolutely incomplete. I'm refitting this affair to me, particularly perhaps on the superior or the fact that I don't feel cool better, I feel cool less than other people thanks to the series of practice, to practice. I follow and do it some minutes which I was very good and is to max and yes and to practice I was very good and when it comes to winter period, winter about superior there always at the committee which I could spend time to practice is I wrote it for the first part of the committee with asterisk of some so if someone is interested in this first part of the first committee with asterisk to notare su practice non fosse più finito fin pronto o not si fa che col finito fin con adesso no si pensa solamente fin grande 5% fil col o avere in genere in some way for me quel secondo instead but scatto sto in genere I don't know perché se mi tengo just for me it's good ma troppo compiti in fact can be some scusa this also in Repix return in the role of Minge ridi affirmative, I think that the number 23 servizi just before 626 finance 17 says but important customs fit tangibili just before the AVDs. My grandfather is still alive. It's still alive and the curiosities, the curious things. My maternal grandfather was born day after his birth because in Murray, as Dan Murray, was born on July 31, while my grandfather August 1. Yes, his music is dedicated to him. For other information, you get to the second section. Ezeri sui cortine, sono se cortine già sembra che sta uscendo l'atmosfera che si suppose che sono in repeat di Sky with middle clear off clear clouds clear sunny alternative with to the clouds so but considering trend last days according to consumer decisions certain things in this case you consider it will be the sun and at the end toward until the end of the day and also it will be cloudy so for me I think it will be cloudy and so yes in fact according to consumer sensations I think that later might became if not totally mostly cloudy and also that material if not a few months later I think regulars but we saw let's see what happens. حتى سويسرا بيزنت ونجي عن سويت عن سويت 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 سكيات كم سكيات تودي فيكيا وين بين تمام da contro è bad well so si distra bit quindi non ha quattro cortine in flash un flash mix frequency un cortine senza number one but among things also buffer third by particular so the buffer in particular the browse it was only for to so no as the beautiful grey cortine beautiful intervention so we per all things all the passage per pressione cortine all things e to mentre si ride so che secondo me come section should be pointed out in first comment for comment where one of them where si ride come section as where I don't know if you can see it or not as it 12 shot near by me if you yes perhaps I think of yes see the infrastructure fast mix difference. Or if not even better, surely better, mi sarà scelta poi casa just the first part of the video, which Perugia, I showed you the weather scatter, sia in generale, classical medical window, classical medical room, so insomma, no, c'è solo stato il medical window e andare al medical room. Oh, from a broader perspective, also when inside a private shot similar to classical shot film on the entire sequel for the price curtain, I repeat beautiful routine with a beautiful print repeat beautiful routine with a beautiful print with benches perhaps also for the first routine in nostro quadriporzo carre cortine infantry exactly sulle carre cortine still in core amici recenti quando io sono idea mesce le cincite avere was saying this shot so repeated su fact of one reason the goal shoot lo sono reason but more when this che si measure la serie del test picture sente lo stesso che si usa per scrutini repeat beautiful routine with beautiful print with benches perhaps also che for the first routine carre cortine e giusto come quadriporzo in fondo si che sempre come success and now since I'll see already for this new curtain sorry but repeat expression for 5 times. Already yes, this little picture sentence it is, but also always better visible for me in its entity. In this shot, at the sequence mythical legendary shot. As a category, should not visible for not mistake, not visible since first days of last October, but it's important to be important that also today is not visible, not ready to special sentence, also for the continuous for it, plus so valid, also for it, so repeat once again, but also always better visible for me in its entirety, in this shot, at this point, mythical, legendary shot. And finally, from a medical keyboard, the NGX 640 PG 625 also uses me, Jane Shot. Questi molti people follow 100 percent agreeing to wear so my sister. So myself, and finally, I hope you will have a great breakfast. To it's late in general, also myself can see late in the as a maybe in the stessa method one took for the first time. Yes, it's late in general and also all for the record, but not all for my house, because my house is kind of normality breakfast. So, sembrava no, or yes, ma te bowl in parts that was very fun, drag reaction, seminar, state was some breakfast, internet, so we interested with what making the drinking milk, fintan, in part of the su finché te ecco, di regole sembrano tutti su saraccio. Ripeto, di close segari ecco, little sonas, sembrano, at the same more than yes, as just before. There are just roll, just in quarter 34 minutes. But important thing that shows, remember that some also do 40 minutes, I'm really young, and as we all see. Breakfast, most beautiful food, absolutely. Se no, posso venire a metterti quanto sono more than 1 year. So adesso I lose lost to quantity in this case like the effect of X from release, it's also the actual reason, but that's the X from release on Friday, it was the 5th, and let's talk about the reports, the beautiful black, red and also white, set if the modern comparison with the brave things that perhaps some of the following on Friday so what reported, finché non buoni. However, yes, repeated time should be easy, but I promise you at one day or one time, so anytime check better so better president then just started to sing so many speech and from Israel non short ho bisogno di giochi per volta come basso mania se vuoi consumere from Israel biscuits ma fai fai tra membri sul come su biscuits sia mette finché tu quando messi mette messa carta per chocolate chip cookies o the cookies chip chocolate chips e ne fai tu mi segui so fai tu biscuits mi serve in particolare, tu mi serve userei da nisi fassuanti, fatto milk fatto un shot, tolling it in coffee, but tu sai che c'è quello che fa questo stare, vantaggio fare shot fragment video, sta shot in flash think 7 months, sì che se lo so, conosci di senti video, sono in touch per better. Questo money is quick, si finisce now, ci sono sempre brutto, anzi think 209, 10, 11 days, sì che lo so, conosci di senti video, sono in touch per better. Poi in sinceret monitor, 3 iPad, insert edit, once again, milk su, very good news. Un easy also tecnico se breakfast cosa bomb last video in particolare mega bomb ne sì che se last video se gioco su qualche altro che mosso magnanza so of course mi think first time so that video and if pensavo non so se toll ne cosa breakfast su questa mega bomb e se continua se pazia se infrabio si rialza la con de transizione mi sa siamo per posizione proprio so execute pam face position c'è la second position mi cosa attraverso questa posizione in Italian Palm Duck Chocolate si pesiras. Fa così, a due come dermatuio, because they are really super bad. Sì, ma ora sposo fatto live, come tutto me l'ho avuto con il ma ora sì.